Today I'm going to break down the 3 big lies that they tell you about oatmeal.
Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan, and a big shout out to my moderator and friend Peter for forwarding me this crazy video from Dr. Berry proclaiming that oatmeal is super bad for you. All these horrible things are going to happen to your health if you eat oatmeal, which I find really hard to believe because what he's saying contradicts what health organizations from around the world who have reviewed the scientific literature by their scientists and epidemiologists and have found that oatmeal is actually quite healthy for humans. Well, on the other hand, the only people I can find saying that oats are going to kill you are just like total misinformation spreaders like Dr. Berg. So Dr. Berry has his work cut out for him if he's going to debunk all these health organizations from around the world, so he must be a world-class researcher himself, right? Well, look on his website. No, he's a family physician practicing in rural Tennessee, so I assume he has no published studies, no qualifications to debunk these health organizations, but let's see him try his best.
Lie number 1. Oatmeal is a heart-healthy food or will save you, protect you from a heart attack or heart failure because oatmeal contains beta-glucans, which can lower your LDL cholesterol.
So far, he's not misrepresented the science. The FDA has stated that 3 grams or more daily of beta-glucans from oats can help reduce risk of coronary heart disease. As well, the European Food Safety Authority has approved health claims for oats beta-glucans, acknowledging its role in lowering blood cholesterol and reducing the risk of cardiovascular disease. So if Dr. Berry thinks these are lies, he's got 2 options. He's either going to debunk it somehow, show that these claims are somehow demonstrably false, all these organizations are lying to us, or he's going to do some bizarre form of gaslighting. Let's see which way he goes.
Now, there's many problems with this lie. I'm going to just deal with 2 of them briefly here. First of all, there's about 3 grams of beta-glucan in 1 half cup bowl of rolled oats. And this can drop your LDL cholesterol somewhere between 5 to 7%.
So he admits it. He agrees with the science that shows that eating oats and their beta-glucans can drop your cholesterol, as he said here, by 5 to 7%. So how is that a lie? That was the claim. It's good for your health, heart health, because lowering your LDL cholesterol is associated with better outcomes with regards to coronary heart disease.
But that reduction in LDL cholesterol is very minor and does not even translate into people in the study actually having fewer heart attacks or strokes.
Well, no, the studies weren't long enough. They didn't conduct these studies over the periods of many years or decades. They're usually conducted within several months just to see merely if eating oats and their beta-glucans would lower people's LDL cholesterol. And that's exactly what the studies found. You cannot criticize the studies that the studies didn't show that the people didn't have heart attacks. That was never part of the study design. They didn't follow them for long enough. And he's not satisfied that the LDL cholesterol reduction was enough. Well, other studies have shown that the greater your baseline LDL cholesterol was, the greater reduction, the greater benefit you'll have from eating oats. So how do these seemingly, to Dr. Berry, meaningless reductions in LDL translate to actual heart disease risk? Well, studies have shown that a 6% decrease in LDL cholesterol translates into an 8% decreased risk of heart disease. 8%, not too shabby, just from eating oatmeal.
Now, the New York Times articles calls this a significant benefit, but in reality, it's minor. It's very small.
Well, small is relative. Yes, you can get a 50% reduction in LDL by taking a hardcore statin, but we're just talking about one intervention here. Oatmeal, just 1 bowl of oatmeal can reduce your risk of cardiovascular disease by 8%. Combine that with other interventions such as statins or other lifestyle changes, and it all adds up. But to dismiss these consistent scientific findings as useless or meaningless or just having zero effect is completely misleading. There is no lie going on here other than the bullshit gaslighting.
Lie number 2, oats and oatmeal will support your blood sugar. Once again, this is all because of the beta-glucan.
First of all, there's no such thing as beta-glucans. It's beta-glucan.
Beta-glucan.
The fact that a rural family doctor can't even pronounce beta-glucans, the thing he's trying to debunk here, really says a lot about the extent of his expertise in this area.
In the oatmeal that we talked about earlier, because of this beta-glucan,
Beta-glucan.
it in some minor way blunts your blood sugar response, or at least in theory it does.
No, it's more than a theory. This is something that's been well established in the literature, like steel-cut oats, large flake oats, and muesli and granola elicited low to medium glycemic response.
All of these things are full of sugar and starch and turn into blood sugar in your blood and spike your blood sugar, which therefore spikes your insulin. So,
wow, I didn't know oats had this weird, bizarre, magical property that spikes your blood sugar. No, what he's describing is what happens when a human eats any carbohydrate, any plant, any fruit, any vegetable, any starch. This is literally how your body gets energy. But it's really blown my mind. He's misrepresenting what the science shows, that as far as blood sugar spikes, which he's so concerned about, the beta-glucans in the oats actually help with that. So instead of demonizing oats, Dr. Berry should be praising them for their lower glycemic response compared to many other carbohydrate-rich foods.
now they do have some beta-glucan,
beta-glucan,
and they do have some fiber, which slows down the spiking of the blood sugar a little bit, but it doesn't stop it. It doesn't eliminate it.
Great job there, Dr. Berry, strawmanning what the scientific literature does not say about beta-glucans and oats. Nowhere in the literature do they claim what you're saying, that it could drop your glycemic response down to zero. It just decreases it.
Lie number 3, that oatmeal is a nutrient-dense superfood. Let's dig into this. That bowl of oatmeal is 60% starch, aka sugar, and only 4% beta-glucan,
beta-glucan,
the magical substance that makes your blood sugar not spike, even though it does.
Again, you're strawmanning. No health organization says that beta-glucans prevents any sort of glycemic response from happening.
But there's another layer to this thing. This is the final big lie that they don't tell you.
I don't know, he's doing pretty crappy so far. I strongly suspect that the final big lie is going to be coming from the doctor.
But here's the problem. It also contains anti-nutrients. These are phytochemicals that can actually block your body's ability to absorb the vitamins and minerals.
Oh, so no surprise, we get into the dreaded anti-nutrients, a very favorite talking point amongst the paleo and carnivore communities.
So these include phytic acid, and this is the biggest issue. It binds very strongly to any iron, any zinc, any calcium, or any magnesium that might happen to be in the oatmeal. The phytic acid binds that up and makes it completely insoluble, so your body cannot absorb it well at all.
And so because of these dreaded anti-nutrients, people like Dr. Berry and other low-carb carnivore proponents tell their followers and tell the world to avoid eating these phytic acid containing foods because it's going to cause horrible things to your health. Well, there's actually been studies that looked into these health controversies put out by these influencers spreading misinformation, because instead of phytic acid containing foods causing all sorts of horrible health outcomes, these studies have shown that increased consumption of whole grain foods is associated with improved health outcomes, which does not justify these crazy claims saying to refrain from grain-based foods because they contain phytic acids. Furthermore, no surprise, advice like this from Dr. Berry completely goes against the general scientific consensus, which says that phytic acid is not a health concern for those who follow a balanced diet, and that if you're concerned about your iron or zinc intake or absorption, it's best to talk with a healthcare professional and get some routine blood tests. So if Dr. Berry were right, you would expect people who eat tons of oatmeal, like myself, would have some horrible blood labs when it comes to these minerals that supposedly can't get absorbed because of the phytic acids in our oatmeal. Well, fortunately for me, I've had some recent blood work that measured my iron, calcium, and magnesium, and let's look at these horrifying deficient results. Far from what you would expect from if Dr. Berry were right. Look at my calcium and iron are right in the middle of the reference ranges, and my magnesium is particularly strong. So one might say, hey Ryan, you might just be a freak of nature, that phytic acids don't affect you negatively. No, I'm doing exactly what the scientific consensus says should happen, that phytic acids are not a concern if you're consuming a balanced diet, which I happen to be. In all fairness to Dr. Berry, the scientific literature does show that phytic acids can reduce mineral absorption, but not to the point that Dr. Berry has claimed that it blocks all mineral absorption, or enough to the point that you'll become deficient, which is clearly not the case. So is oatmeal some kind of magical superfood that's going to cure all your problems, prevent all heart disease, and never spike your blood sugar? No, of course not, but that's never been the scientific claim. But is it toxic like Dr. Barry has been saying? Absolutely not. Again, don't listen to what I'm saying here. Listen to what the experts in the field. I'm not an expert, and clearly Dr. Barry is not an expert with his beta-glucan.
Beta-glucan.
Listen to what the scientific consensus is. Look at what the studies say. Look at what the health organizations from around the world are consistently saying, that oats are a healthy part of our diet. So if you disagree with all the scientific evidence presented, disagree with all the health organizations around the world who are in united consensus about the universal praises for the healthfulness of oats in our diets, and instead you believe this nice, friendly, avuncular family physician in rural Tennessee has no published studies in these fields, and you think he's figured it out and all these experts who really are true experts are wrong, please come to my live stream Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Try to be as civil and decent of a human as you possibly can, and maybe we can have a conversation. So please hit like and share this video to counter the misinformation. Hit the notification bell to get notified for all my live streams, all my regular weekly videos, and all the short form content that Angie, my wife, puts out on YouTube Shorts as well. So I hope to see you guys all Friday. Until then, remember, it looks like being vegan.